Hello my fellow explorers, it is iDevice Explorer, and today I'm going to be doing something totally different from anything that I've done on my channel before. I am going to be doing a Pokemon video, and I know it's kind of crazy. Why am I, as somebody who is focused on an iPad, iDevices, doing Pokemon videos? Well, the simple answer is that I enjoy it, so I'm just going to do videos that I enjoy. The iDevice videos will still be coming, but I wanted to add a new feature to the channel. So without further ado, let's get into this. I am on Cerebi.net, and here shows all of the Mega Evolutions, and I'm going to be ranking them from just total personal experience. No, this is just my opinion. You don't have to get upset if I don't like the Pokemon that you like the most, but yeah, I'm not going to be doing Mega Latios and Latios, by the way, just because they haven't really been released, and I have no experience with them. So, there are 28 of them, and at number 28, I'm sorry to say, is Mega Abomasnow. The reason I put him in last place is for just one simple reason: his typing. Grass and Ice. It is honestly a terrible, terrible typing. Just terrible. Fire is a very common type for attacking in the X and Y battle spot and just online play in general. So, to have a 4 times weakness to fire and to be that slow is just extremely bad. And you can't hold a focus sash, so, because you're Mega Evolving. So you're basically going to be one-hit KO'd by any fire move that hits you, unless it's unstabbed and not very powerful. So yeah, the only thing he's really good for, in my opinion, is like walling dragons, or he's pretty bulky if you're not fighting a fire type, I guess. But you can't really bank on not fighting a fire type in online play. So, next on my list, number 27, is Mega Houndoom. To be honest, I don't have a ton of experience with Mega Houndoom, so I don't know exactly where to put him, but I do not see him on Battle Spot at all. And he's weak to fighting and ground, which are two very common types, for one, and he's not that bulky. He has lowish HP, I should say, and average defenses. He is very fast, though, and a great special attack. But the problem with that is if he doesn't one-hit KO, he will be two-hit KO'd by pretty much anything. So he's more of a Pokemon that comes in and hits hard and gets out, basically. He's okay, I guess. Oh, and Solar Power. That's actually a decent ability if he's in the sun, because he can destroy things with like a flamethrower in the sun with Solar Power. But for the most part, he's not that great. Number 26 is Mega Alakazam. And I know people are going to be like, oh my gosh, he's so good, he's so fast, he has such a high special attack. Yeah, he does, but for one, when he Mega Evolves, you obviously can't hold a Focus Sash or a Life Orb. The only advantage he has over regular Alakazam is that he is faster. Because regular Alakazam with Wonder Guard can hold the Life Orb, and it will do just as much, or actually I think a little bit more, damage than a Mega Alakazam would. So, the only advantage that Mega Alakazam has over regular Alakazam is that he is faster, like I said before. And regular Alakazam is already so fast, there's really no point. I wouldn't bother using Mega Alakazam and wasting my one Mega Evolution. Number 25 is Mega Absol. This thing has a great ability in Magic Bounce that it can bounce back things like Hazards, Stealth Rock, Spore, Thunder Wave, I believe. I would imagine. Stuff that would like normally cripple your team bounces back and cripples their team, which is awesome. The problem is, if they're really a good battler, they are going to see it coming from a mile away. If you send an Absol out, they're going to know, don't set up Stealth Rocks, because the only real reason you bring an Absol is to Mega Evolve. So it kind of it takes away the unpredictability. And Espeon does pretty much the same thing. So the only real reason to use it would be for its stats and attacks, which are good, I would say. Mega Absol stats are decent, with a high 115 speed and a massive 150 attack, but its HP, defense, and special defense are so low that it can pretty much be one-hit KO'd by any real attacker, that it's just not worth really bringing. 24 on this list is right above Mega Absol, and that is Mega Banette. And this thing has a really good attack and basically nothing else. Average or low for every other stat. So you're saying, why would you even use this in the first place? It has terrible stats. Why isn't this last on the list? Well, it has the best thing going for it, and that is its ability Prankster. Normally, you'd be like, well, why don't you just use a Sableye and use Prankster on that? Well, this thing can learn Destiny Bond. So if there's a Pokemon, say a Garchomp set up in your face, it got a +2 Swords Dance, and it is outraging. It is taking out all your Pokemon. You send this thing in, Destiny Bond it, it'll kill this thing right away, and it'll bring that other Pokemon down with it. But because of this, like, really lack of offensive presence, all you can really do is bring down another Pokemon with you. That's why it's lower on the list, and its lack of good stats. On to number 23, and wow, right above that, sort of, is Mega Medicham. The reason it's number 23 is basically the same reason that nobody used it before its Mega Evolution, and it's just that it has bad stats. It had 410 before, and now it has a 510, which is good for normal Pokemon, but it's for a Mega, that's pretty bad. It has low HP, low defense, and special defense. So it'll get one-hit KO'd by a good bit of things, like a lot of Pokemon that are offensive will take this thing out. It has a good speed, though, but the problem is the speed doesn't activate. The first turn you Mega Evolve, the speed is already calculated, so unless you're using Fake Out to flinch that turn, you are probably going to go second to most overused Pokemon. And that is not good, considering his frailty, I guess you could say. But the thing he has that's really good is you can Fake Out and Mega Evolve, and then your speed is up there with like most of the other Pokemon in the overused tier. And he has 100 attack, which doesn't seem great, but his ability, let's see, Pure Power. The Pokemon's attack power is doubled in battle while having this ability. That is insane. Basically it goes to a 200 base attack, which is massive. I don't know what to compare it to right now, but obviously I said that Mega Banette's attack was huge, and that was 165. So you kind of get, Mega Mewtwo Y's special attack is like 194, I believe, and that is insane. So you get an idea of how high this attack is. But like I said before, it's really not that great other than its huge attacking power, because of how frail it is. On to number 22, and that is Mega Gardevoir. I love using this thing, and I wanted to use it so much because I loved Pokemon Emerald, and I had this Pokemon for all of my run-throughs on that game. But it's really, other than, now the Pokebank is out, I guess you can get a Pixelate Hyper Voice, which is really cool. You can hit through substitutes and do a ton of damage, but his regular defense and HP are so low that once again, it's one of those frail Pokemon. All these frail Pokemon are at the bottom of the list. It's going to get one-hit KO'd too easily to really stay in there. And its speed, like I said before, that thing where if you Mega Evolve, the turn and the speed was already decided beforehand, so you're mostly going to go second the turn that you Mega Evolve, and if you get hit by a physical attack, then you are pretty much done. Which is very unfortunate, to say the least. It does have a great special attack, so if you are able to outspeed the opponent's team and use those hyper voices, it will be great for you. But most of the time, it's not going to work out like that. And something you can try, I haven't tried it yet, but it sounds like it would be interesting, is Pixelate Hyper Beam. Right there. 150 damage with Pixelate. Where is it? It's down here. I think, maybe? Yeah. Increases the power of normal type moves by 30%. It then changes those moves to fairy type. I don't know the calculations off the top of my head, but it gives it a 30% boost to Hyper Beam and a stab bonus on top of that, which is just insane. That will pretty much one-hit KO any Pokemon, except for really bulky special defenders. But yeah. On to the next is Mega Blastoise at number 21. I'm sure that you guys kind of saw this coming. He's a really cool Pokemon and all, but he doesn't get that much greater. I don't know how to speak. Much better. He has Mega Launcher, which is a cool ability. It increases the power of Aura and Pulse moves by 50%. So moves like Water Pulse and Aura Sphere and Dark Pulse are going to be really good. But he has good defense and special defense, but his speed is too low, and his special attack is average at best compared to the other Megas. Like Mega Charizard Y has an insane special attack, and so does all the. But he's good, but I would rather use Mega Venusaur or Mega Charizard. That's about all I have to say for Blastoise. I haven't used him much, to be fair. I'm sure he's decent, but yeah. So at number 20 is Mega Ampharos. Mega Ampharos is a good Pokemon. He is very bulky. Very, very bulky, I should say. 105 defense, 110 special defense, and 90 HP. So, not very, very bulky, but he can withstand a few hits if they're not, like, super effective. And the good thing about that is he has such a huge special attack that he can just hit. If he hits a Thunderbolt on something that doesn't resist it, it's going to do a ton of damage. The problem is, with Mega Ampharos, is that he is very slow. 45 speed, and he has a very shallow move pool. He has moves in terms of special attack. He has like Dragon Pulse and Thunderbolt, and that's about it. So if you have a Pokemon that resists those, like an electric Zekrom maybe, oh no, what am I saying? Dragon doesn't resist Dragon. Oh man, I'm tired. Anyway, just something that resists, you know what I'm saying, something that resists electric and Dragon, or one of them at least, then you are in for a good time against Mega Ampharos. Okay, next is Mega Aggron at number 19. He is a wall. That's all I can say about him. He has an insane defense, 230 defense. I think that's the same defense as Shuckle, but he has a 70 hit point. He has 70 hit points. So, yeah, you understand how bulky this thing is. And he has a decent special defense and 70 hit points. So, you're like, well, he has great defense, but he has lower HP and a lower special defense. I could just take him out with a flamethrower. And yeah, you'd normally be right, but he has an awesome ability called Filter, which damage by super effective moves is reduced by 25%. So Flamethrower will still do a ton of damage, but Filter is really awesome. So if you were trying to hit this thing with an Earthquake, then good luck with that. Have fun. That's all I'd say. But he is slow, and his special defense is too low to take like 2 flamethrowers really from any special attacker. So it's just not an ideal. I guess you could run a special defensive nature, 252 special defense EVs, and 252 HP EVs. See how that works. I bet it would be pretty good, but yeah. Next on the list, Mega Manectric. At number 18, I believe? Yeah. This thing is awesome. I haven't used it personally, but I have been destroyed by Mega Manectric on battle spots so many times that I can't count it anymore. With Hidden Power Ice, Flamethrower, and Thunderbolt, he covers pretty much everything. And Volt Switch, you can send him out first, and if you don't like the matchup, just Volt Switch out, and you'll get a decent chunk of damage off. Because he is so fast, he outspeeds Mega Gengar. It's pretty insane. And when he's Mega Evolved anyway. Not when he is regular evolved. So if you send him out against the Gengar first, Gengar has 110, he has 105. So Mega Gengar will outspeed the first turn. But other than that, he has an insane speed and a great special attack. So he can pretty much one-hit KO anything that it's super effective against. With Thunderbolt, Flamethrower, Hidden Power Ice, or Volt Switch. The problem is he, once again, is frail. He can't take many hits. He takes an Earthquake, which is very common by a lot of Pokemon now, it seems. Then he will go down pretty quick. Yeah, that's about it. And what's his ability? His ability Intimidate. That is actually a really good ability because it kind of helps his lower 80 defense. So maybe he could withstand an unstabbed Earthquake. I'm not sure. Haven't tried it out. I'm going to have to try him out soon because he seems really cool. Next on the list is Mega Tyranitar. I should say. He is great. I need to stop saying great. He's decent, I should say. But the problem is he's not any better than his regular form. He's better, but he's not good enough to use it as your only Mega. He has Sandstream, which is the same exact ability as regular Tyranitar. And he gets bulkier with better attack, but honestly, you're better off just using another Mega Evolution other than T-Tar, because he doesn't do that much more than his regular form. And if you're just using him to get the sand up, you should use like a Smooth Rock, or you'd use a Focus Sash in case they have like a fighting move. Then you can actually get an attack off. Next is Mega, here we go, Heracross. I love Mega Heracross. I have one myself, and his ability, Skill Link, is awesome. It tears teams apart, limb by limb. No. But he can spam pin missiles and rock blasts and arm thrusts, because pin missile is a base 125 move basically that breaks, sashes, substitutes, and his attack is sky high. It just skyrockets. 185 attack. That's just almost unheard of. The problem is he has a 4 times flying weakness, and his speed's not that great. So if you get him out against a very common Talonflame, just game over. Unless you have something to switch into. Rock Blast would normally take out Talonflame, but because you're not going to outspeed it and you can't wear a Focus Sash when you're Mega, you're done. So next is Mega Blaziken. And you're probably like, oh, well, this thing is great. It has huge attack, great speed. I need to stop saying great. Somebody needs to put in the comments how many times I've said great in this video, other than the few I've said. Because it is getting out of hand. Okay. So, speed and attack are massive. Well, not speed, but it's because I'm saying it's massive because of its ability speed boost, where you can basically all of them protect first turn, and then they're faster than you, almost always, because they get 1.5 times faster, and that will outspeed almost any Pokemon. And its attack is really good, not compared to Heracross or anything, but because you're going to hit first most of the time with your speed boost, it's pretty awesome. The problem is, once again, this is another one of these Pokemon that's not much better than its original, because its original also has speed boost, and it has the ability to run a Focus Sash, and then a Baton Pass. It has more versatility than Mega, so because of the items it can hold. So that's why it's lower on this list. Next is just a really fun Pokemon to use. Let me find it. Oh, I can't. Oh, wait, I just saw it. Mega Pinsir, with his ability Aerodactyl, is just a weapon. A weapon of mass destruction. Aerodactyl. With this, you can use moves like Return, 102 damage at max friendship, and it will add the 30% boost and a stab to your flying type without any drawbacks. And with, again, paired with its 155 attack and 105 speed, which will outspeed most of the OU, because most Pokemon are like 100 or Garchomp's 102, to give you a benchmark, I guess. You can see how that is a really cool combo. What keeps this thing lower on the list is its 4 times weakness to rock. Stealth Rock. If you're 4 times weak to Stealth Rock, then it hurts. Especially if you can't, if you're not bulky enough with 65 hit points and a 65 special attack to withstand, to like survive a hit at half health. It's not good. And he won't be able to one-hit KO most Pokemon, even with Return. It'll do like a huge chunk, but most Pokemon, unless it's super effective, will not go down in one hit. Next is Mega Mewtwo X. And I know if I was doing this thing in terms of like actual just sheer power, this thing would be up in the top 5. But I'm doing it relative to its tier, which is Uber, obviously, and to its counterpart, Mega Mewtwo Y. So relative, obviously, to in its tier and to other Pokemon, it's not that great, but it is a very fun Pokemon to use, and it looks pretty cool, I would say. If you send out a Mewtwo, the last thing somebody would expect is for a Mega Mewtwo X to appear in a close combat right in their face. So, if you want to surprise somebody, that would be a way to do it. So next on the list, Mega Aerodactyl. He is a sweeper, if you ever saw one. He has not massive, but big attack stat, and the thing that separates him from the rest of the pack is his 150 speed. Literally nothing will outspeed him other than Pokemon like Speed Deoxys and Ninjask, or I guess a Speed Boost Pokemon. But he will get, and his Stone Edge is from a 135 attack. Granted, he doesn't miss it. is really potent to say. And Tough Calls increases the power of moves that make physical contact by 30%. You can take advantage of that a good bit by using, let's see, I don't know moves right off the top of my head. Stealing, never saw that before, but I'm sure that would work. Aerial Ace, always hit. I'm not sure off the top. Oh, Hone Calls, that's a good move. Sharp, it raises attack stat and accuracy. So then, once your accuracy is raised, you can just spam Stone Edges with increased accuracy and attack. So, yeah. Next is Mega Scizor. And we're getting near the top now. And that's pretty obvious. Because Mega Scizor is an animal. Well, I should say he's a bug, but he is awesome. With Technician and Bullet Punch. This thing just tears teams apart. Like fairy types, this Steel Bullet Punch, which would normally just take them out if they had, after their sash went off at 1 hit point, this thing can do some serious damage now with Stab, Technician, Bullet Punch, coming from a 150 attack stat. And his speed isn't that great, but Bullet Punch kind of fixes that. And his really high defense and pretty good special defense is nice. If you want, you could also run a bulky set on Mega Scizor with Roost. I've seen that before. So yeah, the possibilities are not endless, but there are a lot of possibilities for Mega Scizor. Next is Mega Venusaur. Coming in the middle of the first starters of all of the Pokemon games. You don't, like, when I go into Battle Spot, the last thing I want to see is a Mega Venusaur. He can wall your Pokemon for days. With Leech Seed and Toxic Stall, this thing is just terrifying. It has a huge defense stat and special defense stat and a decent HP. So he can just, and thick fat. His ability is like the best ability that he could have. Fire type, halves fire type damage and ice type damage. So basically it makes fire types do neutral damage and ice types, which you normally hit them both for super effective. So the only things that are super effective against him now are Flying and Psychic. And Psychic's not really that common, and I guess Flying is somewhat common. But if you only have one weakness and you're that bulky, then you are going to be very hard to take down. Especially after you get a Leech Seed up and you can do all kinds of shenanigans. Next, at number 9, we're in the top 10 now. Mega Garchomp. Now, a lot of people don't like Mega Garchomp because of he gets really bulky and he has a huge attack stat and he gets bulkier than his original. He has bulk comparable to Venusaur in terms of regular defense. The problem people have with him is that his speed drops from 102 to 92. The good thing about that is the flip side of the problem for other Pokemon, where the speed is determined the first turn before they Mega Evolve. So he will outspeed most Pokemon at 102. So he can Mega Evolve if he sees a threat, and he will most likely wipe them out with his huge attack stat, and he will go first. Even though they might have a base 100 speed. But he will outspeed them because he had a 102 before, and he will still get the attack boost. So that is really nice. And, yeah, he has just a cool ability, Sand Force. So you can use him with Smooth Rock, Tyranitar, and get that Sand Force, so you can just spam Earthquakes all day. Next is Mega, here we go, near the beginning, Mega Gyarados. He is, at first glance, he's not that great because he's weak to a common fighting type that he was resistant to at first. But the good thing about that is when people are attacking regular Gyarados, they're like, well, I'm not going to use a fighting move unless it's really obvious that you're going to Mega Evolve. So you'll at least get that first turn. And what you can do with that is you can Dragon Dance. And after one Dragon Dance, if you have max speed, you will outspeed almost all of the OU Pokemon. And with your attack at 1.5 from an already base 155 attack, he will be deadly. You do not want to go up against a Dragon Danced Gyarados. And he has 5 weak. The problem is he's sort of slow. If you don't get him a Dragon Dance right away, really, he will be. I think he has 5 weaknesses. Let me count: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He has 5 weaknesses. So if he will go second unless you get a Dragon Dance off, and he will get most likely one-hit KO'd. Even though he's extremely bulky, he can get like Manectric. A Thunderbolt from him will most likely. I didn't run damage calc, and I'm not going to, but I'm assuming that it would take this thing out. Okay, next is number 7, and that is Mega Lucario. This thing, you would say, in terms of actual stats, it gets better, but it's not worlds better than its original. It gets way higher attack and special attack, and it doesn't get much better defenses or HP, obviously. But one thing it does get is a big speed increase, which is very, very helpful. So he can outspeed most Pokemon after that first turn thing. And with his new ability, Adaptability, increases the same type attack bonus, stab bonus, from 1.5 to 2. So basically it's like a super effective move instead of a stab bonus. Couple that with a close combat or Aura Sphere or whatever you want to use, then it becomes a sweeping machine. And yeah, that's about all I wanted to say for there. But the problem with it is that it is weak to 2 of the most common things, ground and fire. So it doesn't really help that its special and physical and HP are not that great. That is why it is only number 7. On to number 6 is Mega Charizard X. And some people are probably going to be like, oh, why did you put Mega Charizard X behind Mega Charizard Y? The answer is that I just think Mega Charizard Y is better. But the good thing about that is that because Mega Charizard Y has more lethal power, I guess you could say, with its Drought ability, and you can sort of send in Mega Charizard X, and they'll be expecting Y most of the time. So you can set up a Dragon Dance in their faces, just in their face, and they won't even see it coming. And you will be faster than you'll be faster than almost any other Pokemon at that once you have a Dragon Dance up. And with your ability Tough Claws, Flare Blitz, Outrage, you can then proceed to sweep. Get out the broom. And number 5 now. Yes. Number 5 is Mega Gengar. You could probably say, you could argue that he's number 1 on this list because of his insane ability Shadow Tag. It's the same, I think it's the same reason Wobbuffet, or Wobbuffet, I don't know how you say it. You can say it however you want. But that's the same reason Wobbuffet was Uber, in the Uber tier, and that is probably why Mega Gengar is banned from Smogon. Man, I can't pronounce things to save my life. But anyway, yes, he is very deadly because of his Shadow Tag, and he can learn Perish Song. So he can set up a Shadow Tag Perish Song, and then Protect, Substitute, Stall, and then he can switch. So it can be infuriating. But if he is an offensive Gengar, he is probably worse than regular Gengar because he can't run Focus Sash, and he is somewhat frail with only 60 hit points, 80 defense, and a decent 95 special defense. But if he gets hit with a common knockoff or Sucker Punch, he's done. And he won't be able, with regular Gengar, you can hit a move, and then you'll most likely outspeed, and then you'll be able to Destiny Bond with 1 hit point left. So that's pretty nice. That is why he's only 5 on the list. Still really good. Top 5. Number 4. And this thing is just overpowered. Mega Mewtwo Y. With stats higher than Arceus at this point when he's Mega, a speed that outspeeds most Pokemon other than Aerodactyl, but with a 194 special attack, pretty good HP 106, bad defense 70, but a good special defense, he can just sweep. He doesn't need to even set up. Psychic, Psyshock, Shadow Ball, you name it. He will hit you, and if you're not specially defensive, he will probably knock you out. Or she, but I don't think he has a gender. I don't know what Mewtwo has a gender. I don't know what I'm saying. But yeah, he can, why do I keep saying he? Mewtwo can wreck you if you don't have what it takes to handle it. That being said, you can kind of counter this with Arceus, obviously, and because it's in the Uber tier, other legendaries can sort of fight it, or Ubers can kind of combat it. I don't know what words I want right now, so I'm going to move on to the next one. But yeah, he is good. Just not that much greater than regular Mewtwo, so he's not number 1 on this list. Number 3, Mega Charizard Y. With his new ability, Drought, and his ability to learn Solar Beam, he can Flamethrower or Solar Beam. He can actually, this is the Pokemon I use to counter Greninja, believe it or not. I send Charizard Y out, they send out Greninja, and they're thinking, oh, I'm just going to Scald him, and he'll probably switch out. If he doesn't, he's going to get knocked out. But in the sun, Scald does maybe half of it. Even Hydro Pump won't even kill. So, in the sun. So, he'll hit you with like a Scald or Hydro Pump and won't kill. And then you can proceed to Solar Beam Greninja to his death. Most of the time. And that is what makes this thing so deadly. Because he can wall water types. He can destroy almost anything with Flamethrower. The problem is he has a 4x Stealth Rock weakness, and 4x weakness to Rock in general, and he's weak to Manectric or other fast electric Pokemon. That's why he's not 1 on this list. But he's still very powerful. Number 2 is a Pokemon that nobody used before its Mega Evolution. That's Mega Mawile. With a healthy attack, I don't know why I just said healthy attack, with a good attack, and I'm using good way too much as well as great. But he has an awesome is another word. I want to know what word I use the most during this video. I don't really want to know, but I do. Anyway, its attack is really high. Not because of its 105, but because of huge power. It has a higher attack than Medicham did with its pure power ability. So it has 210 base attack. Combine that with its Steel and Fairy typing, which is the best defensive typing in terms of most resistances or immunities, and least weaknesses. It's in terms of defensive nature. Even though it has a low hit points and average special defense, it can still hold off most Pokemon because of its great typing. And even though it has a low speed, it can Sucker Punch. And a Sucker Punch from a 210 base attack Mawile, you better be physically defensive. That's all I'm going to say. That is why he's number 2 on this list. The only reason that he is not number 1 is because of his weakness to the most common ground and fire types. Other than that, though, he is an absolute monster. Or she. Number 1. Dun 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 dun! Mega Kangashkan. With an attack stat of 125, it's not as high as most Pokemon, but it has an interesting ability, probably the most interesting ability, Parental Bond. Every move used by the Pokemon will hit twice. So you can use so many different moves and strategies with this Pokemon. Moves, and the most common set is a Power-Up Punch. So you can double that attack stat, not the base stat, but you can have, at level 50, 159. With the beneficial nature, you can have up to 194. And with a 194 being doubled with Power-Up Punch because it hits twice, that is just, it's like a Swords Dance and an attack in one. And then you can Sucker Punch to outspeed if you don't already outspeed with a 100 speed. And your only weakness is to fighting. Sure, you don't have any immunities or real resistances. Actually, no, you have a ghost immunity, don't you? Yes, you have a ghost immunity, but you don't have any real resistances other than that. And you can't hit ghost type with Power-Up Punch. But just because of how cool this ability is, and once you have that Power-Up Punch, you can Rock Slide for flinches. Because you're hitting twice with the 30% flinch chance, it doesn't double it. I don't know the exact value because statistically it doesn't technically double the 30% to make it 60% like Togekiss, but it is higher. And yeah, just watch out for this Pokemon. Just watch out. I am done now. That is my top Mega evolutions. On a side note, I wanted to thank all of my subscribers and viewers because I have hit the 50 subscriber benchmark, I guess, or mark. Why do I keep saying benchmark? Mark. And it feels great. Honestly, I really enjoy seeing all of you comment, and just when I see a new subscriber, I just flip. I'm like, yes. I jump out of my seat and just yell because it is really nice to see that you guys are enjoying my content, and I am going to try to keep as much coming for you as possible. That is it. Please comment, rate, and subscribe. iDevice Explorer out.